Thursday, October 4th, 2018, 6:30 PM in the Land Use Hearing Room. In attendance, Acting Chair, Chris Pratt, Joanne Horacek, David Gunn is not here, correct? David Sutton, Bob Horacek, Karen DeMayo, Sue Fox, and Maria Sutton.
Thank you very much. And welcome, everybody. Just like everybody to introduce themselves, since we're all new, I'd say hi, but Sue.
Sue Fox?
Okay. Bob.
Abracha.
Maria Seddon.
Joanne Horacek.
Karen DeMayo.
David Sutton.
And Chris Pratt.
Cindy DeMay.
Okay. And welcome, everybody. Good to see you here. And I think right now we're going to be doing some swearing in.
Alright, so I'm gonna swear in Maria and Karen. If I can have Karen and Maria just stand, I'm gonna have you guys raise your right hands.
I was sworn in before. I'm not new.
They reappointed
For-
you just in July, so.
Oh, okay.
You're good.
Do you solemnly swear to faithfully and impartially perform the duties to the office you've been appointed to, so help you God?
Yes.
So I'm just gonna have you sign next to your name in the book. And then just date it. And then I'm just gonna have you sign this
Oh,
paper
David
here.
is here.
It's just a yearly one.
Hello, good evening.
And David Gunn just
Now to
arrived.
get another chair.
7:31.
And then you can just sign right next to your name.
He gets a red chair because he's late.
Bad.
He's got himself some.
Cindy, you don't have another pen, do you?
What's that?
Another pen?
This is the only one I have. I wish I had another
Next
one.
time, bring about 10.
You're not gonna need it? Thank you.
I'm also.
Oh, you
I
don't think you
don't, I don't
can?
think I'll need one, hopefully.
Wally's not here, so Chris is acting too.
Okay, the first thing we have on our agenda is, or a second thing, is reorganization of the committee. And I would like to table that tonight. I'd like to make a motion to table that tonight due to the fact that our chair is not here. And I would like him to be.
That has to be, you have to ask for a motion. When it's seconded, then it's for discussion only. You have to state why. And
Okay.
then you vote, okay?
All right.
And just
That's-
strict
no,
orders.
That's fine.
got
I want it
strict
to be
orders.
the right way. That's,
Okay.
thank you. And I'm sure it was anticipated, so
Yeah,
that's why you
yeah.
have it.
So
Okay, so-
motion, so motioned.
Okay,
I'll second it.
all right. Discussion?
We have a quorum, I see no need to do that.
Well, I feel that the chair should be present for such a move on the board, his board. So I believe that's why I would like to table this till a meeting when he is here,
Now you take a vote,
okay?
because you said why. He said
All
why.
right. Is there anybody else that
Anybody
has
else?
anything that they'd like to
I
say?
agree with that
You agree with that?
position. I agree with that position. I think it's important that the chairman be at the meeting where we're talking about the future positions of this group. So I see that as a significant point to consider.
Okay. We'll take a vote in favor of tabling this agenda item.
Aye.
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 Okay, so we have 3 to table it,
Against?
Aye.
Aye.
5 to vote.
As anticipated.
So, now you take your vote.
Okay. Reorganization of the committee.
So you get a
I'm
motion.
not really sure what that means, since I
A
did
motion
not.
for a chairman. Take a vote.
I did
Motion.
not put that on the agenda, neither did John Wally. So I'm not sure.
It was put,
Who created the agenda?
it was done by Roz and Cindy, and it is something that you do after you get appointed
But
for the following,
don't the positions that are in the previous year carry over?
no, you
To
revote. You revote.
To the,
So
at least the
you'll-
first meeting of the.
You'll vote, well, you can't take it off the agenda now.
No,
So you have to, you have to vote for.
I'm
chairman.
just wondering if it's a valid agenda, is my question. If it
Yeah,
wasn't put on
it
by
is.
Mr. Okay, well,
I
it
mean,
may be contested.
John's aware that it was gonna be a vote.
He did not put it on the agenda. He
You
did
can-
not approve that
You can
on the
take the
agenda.
vote and then question it if you like,
I
but
believe that's what
this.
we're going to be doing,
this
just
was,
to let you know, that's,
Yeah, no, Michelle and I
That
had a
will be the
conversation
route.
about it, and she
Right.
said that you have to.
Well,
Just-
does that mean that anybody can put together an agenda for a meeting?
The chairman, knew about it, and I did
No,
email it to you 2 days
and
ago.
I did go down to try to.
You can't after 40, it has to be
I
done
did
48
go
hours.
today,
Yeah,
yeah,
and she said you can't take stuff off the agenda, you can put it on,
yeah.
but you can't remove it. I mean, you
can
can
cancel.
question it, but I would appreciate if you do the vote, now that you've all voted, that 5 have voted to do it.
to do
And
what?
3
We've
take the
voted
vote,
to take
because
the
it's been
vote
motioned.
About reviewing
No,
positions?
about reorganization. It was voted on to do it. So what you can do is vote to reorganize, and then if you question it, we can look in Robert's rules and see if you have the right to question it.
No, I think it would be more of an ethics question rather than Robert's
Yeah,
rules.
well, Michelle will help
Okay.
look into it. I'm not gonna make a decision.
I guess what I'm confused about is that if the chairman isn't going to be at a meeting, it seems to me that anybody else could then come in, make an agenda and have a meeting.
No, but an agenda has to be done.
Yeah, but
Okay.
they
The
can make a
agenda has
meeting
to
and
It has to
file
be
it.
it has to be voted on 48 hours, I mean, it has to be posted 48 hours ahead of time. John Wally was aware of what was gonna be on the agenda. Chris, I emailed it to you, I think, 2 days ago. I know you only came in today,
Right,
but
but you said I had until 4:30 this afternoon.
to change it, but
To
you
change it.
can't remove stuff. I had no idea what you were gonna do to the
Okay,
agenda.
well, in your email it
And by
said that I
not
could-
hearing from me,
Yeah.
yeah, you can,
The email said I
you
could remove
can
things.
make an amendment. It
says
doesn't say you can
remove.
take it off. From
Actually-
me, can I see it?
Absolutely.
And just so you know, Michelle and I talked about this afternoon, so I'm going by what she told me to.
I understand that.
Yeah.
I know she went to
Ki-
the office
it's a
when
don't
I
kill the
was there,
messenger.
so I understand that. But in
Yeah.
your email, you did say that I could remove things,
Do
so
you have
it
it?
was under, I do.
'Cause it says I said you can't remove things?
No, it said that I could amend it. It-
Right, but you can't remove things. You can amend it by
Maybe
changing
I read
it,
it
adding,
incorrectly.
adding to it. I mean, if it's already posted, from what Michelle says, you're not supposed to remove items. You can amend it by adding things.
Yeah, she did tell me that.
We're going to get a copy of that law.
I can get it for you.
Thank you.
It says, "Hi, Chris, I'm looking for approval and/or deletions, additions to the CPC agenda.
I wrote deletions? Well, I apologize.
Please let me know, as I found Mr. Wally will not be in attendance."
Okay, I apologize. I know, I believe it. I just can't believe I said deletions,
Yeah,
because usually it's amendments. But, Michelle's
I would
law
interpret
is the
that to
law.
be a deletion as well. Any amendments would be a change, so I
Okay,
also
so
interpret it that way.
my request is for you to vote on it.
Okay,
And then if you don't have to vote tonight, then you can vote to change it next meeting. All right? I didn't
well,
have,
that means,
I didn't have a
that means if the
conversation
decision
with-
is upheld.
I didn't have a conversation with Michelle until about 3:30 this afternoon.
Right. I'm just, I was also concerned that, there were certain things that were on some of the past, minutes.
Yeah,
That's why
these-
we're here, to review those minutes.
Right, yep.
And-
They're all
and
here
I-
with Roz, who listened to the tape of all the minutes.
Okay.
And I have her changes.
I'm
She's
just wanting to
retyped
make
them.
sure things are done correctly.
Yep.
And that's my
Yeah,
motion,
we've
is to
gone,
make sure that is done
actually,
correctly.
they meant detail over that, about the minutes.
Okay.
So you got
Well, not just the
emailed.
minutes. I mean, I want to make sure that we're not coming back to revisit this again.
Well, no, what I'm saying is if we find that you could have deleted it, then you can vote on it next meeting. or ask
Or
Michelle
not.
how to revote it.
Okay,
You know, but in the meantime, it's been motioned to vote 4, 5, and 3,
okay.
so. And you're better off voting on something that's on the agenda than not voting on it, unless you vote to table, which you didn't have on the table, but.
All right. I'll make a motion for John Wally to remain chair of the Community Preservation.
Second.
I'd like to nominate Bob Horacek.
Second.
I'd like to nominate Chris Pratt.
Once you have a motion and a second, then you take a vote. So the
Okay.
first,
The
correct? So the first
is on
motion,
John Wally
Right.
for chair of
And it
Community
was-
Preservation.
that was the motion. David seconded it, now you can have a conversation.
Okay. I believe
And then you
John
take a
has
vote.
done a nice job as chair of the Community Preservation. I believe he deserves to be recognized for that and remain as the chair. I believe that he is one who is the glue of this committee. And I think that I'd like to see him remain.
I'd like to see John remain as the chair. I think that, I don't know anyone in town that's committed to this community and community preservation as much as John is. He does it not only with what he speaks, but also with what he does. And I think he's been a good steward for this program and has put qualified people around him to continue with it.
Don't most boards reorganize and elect different people each
Not
time?
all the
No.
time.
Not all the time.
You know, it's
No,
the
it's
vote of
very
the board.
rare. I've been chair of the Conservation Commission for over 15 years.
But I know, like, for example, the select board reorganizes
Well, they're-
every year.
They're of a different
Yeah,
statute.
that's an elected position.
But as historical commission, I've been the chairman on it for like 3 or 4 years running, went off for about 2 years, and been on it for the last couple of years again. So,
But you do reorganize every year.
we do positions.
Yeah.
Say, this is your responsibility, that's yours.
But you vote on it
We do.
every year at every opening of the meeting for the season.
Conservation does not.
Why
We haven't done ours yet. We've had meetings, but we have not done our vote for positions yet. Because we've had difficulty getting the quorum together at specific times.
Plus, everybody would have to be sworn into the position to be able to vote. So if you don't have a,
I think everybody has already been sworn in
Right.
previously, so that's not an issue.
when they're reappointed, they have to get sworn in again before they can vote.
Okay.
You have to get sworn in every year.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, I'd like to take a vote for John Wally as chair of Community Preservation. All in favor, say aye. Aye. May I have a raise of hands, please? Okay, all
I
opposed?
need to see that again. I'm not familiar with everybody's names.
David Gunn, David Sutton, Chris Pratt. All opposed?
Okay. I'm gonna see how long you hold your hands up.
Okay. So now we would be looking at a vice chair for community preservation.
Would have to take a vote on the other nomination.
There's another nomination on the table.
Isn't there 2 nominations?
No, there were 3. I was 1 as well, but since 5 have already
Did
voted for
anybody,
one
did
person.
anybody second that though?
Nobody seconded that.
What, for Wally?
For me,
Or-
No,
Nobody
Chris,
seconded.
nobody seconded for Chris.
no. So we're looking,
Well, we could make that nomination
Because it was
now,
already-
So I would nominate Chris Pratt.
The first one was already seconded, so you don't go on to the second vote. So now you're doing Chris as vice?
Yeah.
There was
So
we need a
Bob
second.
Horacek was nominated next and seconded.
But this motion passed.
that's for, this next one is for the vice chair.
We'll do a vice chair.
Chair has already been voted on.
Yeah.
We
The
don't-
first
Yeah.
motion that was made for the chair was
Oh, okay.
motion, seconded,
There was no
discussed
second
and
for
then
me
voted on.
as chair.
Okay.
No, but there was a second for
There
me,
was
so
a
you haven't
second.
voted on me.
There was a second.
You didn't?
Yeah.
Chair.
But the
No.
first
No.
motion,
Oh, I apologize. I thought we did.
Second for the chair.
Yeah.
Okay.
who seconded that?
I did.
I did
She
it
did.
first, she seconded.
Okay. Okay,
I think Cindy and I
now-
are on different page together. I don't know how that happened, sorry.
So now
Okay,
discussion
now,
on Bob Ratchet.
okay,
yep,
can I have discussion for Bob as chair?
I've worked with Bob on a cable committee. He was the chairman there. He did a fantastic job. I believe he would run this board just as well. So he has my support.
any other
Anyone
comments?
I agree. I would think he would run the chair. He does the other commissions too. So I think we could probably use a little bit of change around here too. I think he would make a good candidate.
Okay, any more discussion? Okay, call a vote. Those in favor of Bob Ratchick as chair, community preservation?
Aye.
5-4,
And those against?
no vote?
Abstain.
Boy, you guys are doing a number on me tonight, because
Hey.
I'm thinking that the first motion is the one that stands. That's what I'm thinking, plus the votes were higher on the first motion. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Not at all.
Like 5-4,
5-4.
5 for John Hawley.
There wasn't
And
5
three
votes.
against.
for
No, it
John
wasn't
Wall.
5 for John Lawry.
Or three?
There was only 3 for
Only
John
3.
Wall.
And
3,
5
4,
passed.
no, 5 people voted yes.
No.
Not
No,
for John
5
Lawry.
opposed.
For John Wall.
5 opposed.
Okay, sorry.
3 people voted yes.
Okay, all right. So 3 yes, 5 against.
Correct.
And then you went to Bob,
Correct.
and it was
5-2.
5 in
and
favor.
1 abstained.
two
Two
no, and
opposed.
1 abstained, yeah. So now what do we do? I don't know. I've
The
never
gavel
been-
passes.
I've never come up with something like this.
We voted
The
one
gavel
person
passed.
out, yeah, it passed.
Okay. All right, so
Now we
now,
vote on vice chair.
Vice chair.
okay. All right.
So the chair will accept nominations for vice chair.
I'd like to nominate Joanne.
Does that happen now, or is that the next meeting? Are we jumping the
It
gun?
happens now.
Reorganization of the committee.
Is
Is done, so now,
I
He's
thought that
chair.
was after, I thought there had to be a 30-hour wait period
well,
afterwards.
let me give you an
There's no
example.
inauguration that takes place,
Let me
Chris.
give you an example, okay? And I'm just using the select board for an
Sure enough.
example. When we walk in, say there's something the chair had to sign, the existing chair would sign it, and then they would revote, and then the other chair, they'd switch chairs. So I know it happens right at the meeting. I can look into it. I
Okay.
mean, you know, you guys are giving me a first here, so.
Well, it's a first for all of us, I
Yeah,
believe.
yeah, a learning experience. All right, so, in my opinion, I think he should be chairing now.
The chair will accept nominations for vice chair.
I'd like to nominate Joanne Horacek.
I second that.
Okay.
So, discussion?
All right.
Any discussion?
I don't know Joanne.
I'm on housing,
Housing?
yes,
How long have you been on housing?
6 years.
6 years?
And I think I should be, because 10% of this money that is in CPC goes to the housing. So I think I would have a little more going toward the housing and, work, right, inside on the housing.
Any other nominations?
As far as nominations, specifically, I would nominate Chris Pratt.
I'll second that.
You can second your own nomination. just
That's
so-
okay, we're all set. yeah.
Any discussion?
Who's taking the second here?
I'll take the second.
Chris, how long have you been vice chair of this committee?
For about a year, but I've been on the committee for a long time. I was on the ad hoc committee that put this committee together. So I've been involved with this committee for, well, a very long time.
I found Chris to always be very above board, concise, and concerned. I think he represents what we're looking for in people on these boards.
Any other discussion? Any other nominations? Okay, nominations are closed. Let's take a vote. All those in favor of Joanne? Okay. Cindy, did you get those? Okay. All those in favor of Chris Pratt?
Gotcha. Okay, so what do you think? I'm gonna say Chris Pratt.
Well, the board doesn't change because the votes are equal.
Right. So he's vice chair.
Vice chair.
Okay.
Um,
What do they send me this meeting?
So,
Thank
mark
you
it
for
down.
coming,
One more
Cindy.
first.
Yeah.
One of the areas that we have talked about is, as far as position of the board, are the financial end. So I'd like to create a position of treasurer. And because of her background, I'd like someone to nominate Karen DeMayo to help us out with that.
Don't you have to create the position first?
You're probably right. We could do that. Okay. So can I have a motion to create a position of treasurer?
Motion.
Second it.
Okay. Any discussion? I know John had asked me some time ago to take over those, so just didn't have the time.
Well, I think Karen is as tenacious on the CPC as she is for the school board. I don't think I don't see any issues.
I believe she does her due diligence on that, so.
We didn't have a vote on the position. Is that unanimous? To vote on the position?
We didn't vote yet.
To have it, to have the
That's right.
position.
We did not vote on that
I
yet.
went forward with,
But you were voting on
right,
making the position.
right.
So I need a vote on that.
Okay.
Because it was Joanne,
Well,
that you seconded it?
Is all the discussion ended on whether or not we should have the position?
I'm all set with that, yeah.
Okay, so let's call for a vote. All those in favor of adding a position of treasurer to the committee, say aye.
Aye.
Is that unanimous?
Unanimous, yeah.
Okay.
All those opposed? Abstentions? Okay.
Okay, now the position of treasurer.
So I'll ask for nominations to the position of treasurer.
I'd like to nominate Karen DeMayo.
Second.
Kind of had some discussion already, I don't know.
Right. So any other nominations? Okay, we'll close the nominations, take a vote. All those in favor of Karen?
Aye.
Unanimous.
Oh, thank God. I was panicking.
No Beal wants that job.
Yeah. Okay, so should be treasurer.
Cookie, Cindy.
Okay,
I'll
so.
reward myself at the end of the meeting.
Just leave.
Is there any other position?
I don't think so. So we have the meeting minutes to review.
And there was, the first one, the only feedback was from Karen. And it's written right under review and approve the minutes of 11/29/17. And her change would be the next page. Right there. So it would be the minutes that are stapled to it, but with the change on the bottom of page 2. When referring to the school playground.
Roger that.
So if everybody's okay with it, I need a motion, a second, and a vote.
I'll make a motion to accept the amended minutes from November 29th of 2017.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Should I send it around or wait till the end
What is it?
to have these signed? Since it,
Oh, yeah, they signed them. Yeah, send it around now, please.
Quick one.
Did you incorporate that change in?
I did not.
Okay.
Because
Is the
we-
signature page different than the page 2? Yeah, okay.
Yep,
send that
so
around.
just send that around. Okay.
But now, is the order wrong? No, it stays.
Still says John Wally Chair.
Yeah,
Well, he was chair at the
It's-
time though.
Actually, it says Marcus Phelps. It's still on this one as well, so I don't know if the signature page is correct.
It has,
you know what I would do? Give them the front page to sign. Just hand them the front page of the minutes. Right here.
but I thought it was,
Yeah, I'm on the front page. No, I'm not.
whoever was on the board at the time they did it.
No,
I think so.
Can
Let me
vote
leave that,
on
right?
the
That's why they stayed that way.
Okay.
We don't sign it though.
I just-
oh, we don't sign any
No,
of
no,
that.
no,
Marcus
because
Bob.
we're
Do the
new.
motion.
No, but basically to them voting on it, if they're new to the committee,
They're sworn in.
We can
So
still
they
vote
would
on it.
abstain
I'm
from
going
any
by what
minutes
was
that they
in the
did.
computer.
Okay.
No, I'm not,
so
I'm
no,
just
they-
like
they
trying to
should be
think.
abstaining.
That's just my
So Counselor
concern.
Bill says it.
Instead
Okay,
of unanimous,
understood.
yeah, 2 abstained, okay.
3,
That's why we're saying.
3 abstain.
I wasn't here.
Oh,
wasn't
okay,
here.
okay,
So we have some-
There you go.
okay. All right, I
So
get
we
it.
have 5,
Yep.
okay, we have a quorum to approve the minutes.
Yep.
Oh, you got
I got these.
I stole it from, oh, she left. Uh-oh, I'm gonna have to give her back the pen tomorrow. I'm just getting in the people. So you're looking for
We
it.
abstained.
This change.
Oh, all these minutes are,
Yeah, they're from before.
and some messages from March and February.
Friday. Friday before this one. You're that guy. You got the set sail on the USS Constitution. The sail about the Port of Independence. Fire cannon. Friends from the commander of the USS Constitution, Robert Grossa.
It'll be the same thing,
Oh, they're, gotcha,
only 5 people.
Yeah, I know that.
We'll go over a lot of this tomorrow.
right?
Are you mad at this one?
Yes, I am.
Yeah. I sailed on the USS Constitution
When?
last Friday.
Sweet.
Wow.
Then, when I got to Fort Independence, I got to fire a salvo for the 21 gun salute.
Wow, you must have had to pinch yourself.
You kidding me? I'm not changing.
That's amazing.
I put the linen I was wearing in a
Yeah.
frame. I'm saving them stains for a later date.
Right?
That was.
Did you steal the toilet paper?
Do you have the front page to sign?
What was
Okay,
the
so we're
occasion?
gonna just go right ahead.
They have a thing
because
called the
there's no
turnaround,
changes.
but not only that,
No,
it was
I want a signature on the
an
front page
event
of
for
the
Gold Star
first
families
Okay, so
Oh, yeah.
we're
and
still waiting,
educators. And so I was also invited by the former commander of the USS Constitution, Robert Grossa. It's like a 3 invites. That was pretty neat.
yep. So do we have enough signatures?
Nothing left to dock. It
Should
was
have 5.
I've been on that boat since I
February
was
1st will
7,
be the same.
Yeah,
every
we
single
got
year.
Usually what I do is I let people who, grammatical,
That thing went out to sea.
Now, which ones
Change
I was proud of
were,
it.
they can talk about that kind of thing. But they can't change content or anything else or approve.
you know what?
No, we abstained from that.
So these November 29th minutes were already approved. These minutes,
Yes.
these minutes were
For the log
approved
cannon.
in March. So these,
That's what looks below.
the vote has to be as
Put it on
amended,
the vote?
How could they
the
be
minutes.
When I was
approved
in
if they
fifth
weren't?
grade.
When you get a chance,
approved it.
it's a beautiful thing to see.
At
I think
the
I
March
was when I was in
29th.
fifth grade.
They
That's,
approved the,
But the,
45
oh, this
years.
was such a mess. They approved the
the
November
Commandant of the
29th
Naval Academy pulled a
minutes. Okay,
boneheaded
they
move in
tabled them
1860.
at the
We removed this, the
February
mastership,
meeting.
because.
And they approved it at the
it was
March
still commissioned. It wasn't being used.
But there was a
But
lot
there
of,
was no minutes.
They took the
actual
mast
minutes.
out.
yeah, there was.
There was?
They
Oh,
removed
okay.
the mast.
Roz has gone and listened to all three of these on
Oh, and
tape.
they took the mast out to vote.
One of them didn't have the date
And then they panicked and tried to get it all
or
back
any
together.
information. It just kind of started in the middle of the meeting. So she had to
That's
figure
the
out
we
what
almost
meeting
lost
it
the
was,
Constitution.
make the corrections. So these
That would have been set.
that were accepted in March,
Best sinking for
these
17
November ones that were
schools.
accepted in March.
We can't hear what you guys are saying out here.
Okay, there was a set of November 29th minutes. They came to the meeting on February 1st, 2018. They were tabled. They then went to the March 29th meeting and they were approved. But they needed a lot of amendments. So they re-voted to approve these as amended. Okay? So now, the February 1st minutes were not voted on, and the March 29th minutes were not voted on. So now they need to vote on these two. And then they'll be up to date with minutes.
Thank you.
Yep.
So, are we ready to vote on February 1st?
Yep.
Okay. Motion to accept the minutes.
So motion?
Have a second?
I'll do a second.
Okay. Any discussion? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Three, so it'd be the 5,
Opposed?
4,
Abstentions?
3.
Okay. Motion is approved 5-3.
Now you'll do the March 29th.
29th.
You're gonna sell the,
Okay. Motion approved.
I was absent from this meeting. So do I sign it? I was absent.
Yeah, you still sign it because you're accepting them as the minutes of
I
the
don't,
meeting.
I'm not seconding it.
You're on the,
Usually
I'll
we
just
don't,
say it
but
then.
Did you get a
if you
motion?
get enough, it doesn't
no,
matter.
we do it at the polling place.
Well,
You
that's
didn't get a
why I was
motion
like,
yet.
okay. Oh,
No, third step.
Either way, it's nice to have a signature.
Yes.
Okay, March 29th minutes. Motion to approve.
So motion?
Second?
second.
Okay. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor of March 29th minutes? Aye.
Aye.
All right,
Aye.
Abstain.
Abstain.
It's 5-3. That's okay. I think, I'm trying to think, we have, well, it's 4-4, but we still have quorum, so,
Is that still 5 and that was
no,
4?
because David was
Yeah.
not there, so he had
Okay.
abstained, so, actually, I'm not sure how
I
that.
think we have to table those
I
again.
think you're right. I think you have to table it.
Okay.
Put a formal motion for that, or just table it?
You have to put it on the,
Formal motion.
Not having enough votes,
yeah, we're taking
We'll
the
just have to
motion
see.
off the table because, so now I
Okay.
just need, now I need one to table it.
you stole it first.
I know, that's right. I have first steal on it.
Would you like a motion?
Yes, please.
Table the March 29th?
Yes.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I
Second,
second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
What's that? So this doesn't get signed?
no.
Okay. This is the whole thing. Okay.
Full motion to second that.
Okay.
David's gonna motion that. Who seconded that motion?
To table it? I did.
Okay. And the vote was?
Unanimous.
No.
Okay. So our next appointment is Elaine Pepperoy from Franklin Land Trust.
Welcome back, Elaine.
That's who gets voted first one.
Yeah.
Elaine, before you get started, because we have so many new members here, if you'd be so kind to
Yes.
give a little background on Franklin Land Trust.
Yeah.
You can go to the website and get all the details, but how your involvement came about and what your agreement is with the
Yes.
communities. So if you
Yeah.
could do that, that would be very helpful.
That would be great. So, it has been a while since I've been here. My name is Elaine Peteroy. I am the Director of Land Conservation at the Franklin Land Trust. And there's some cards if anybody wants to go how to correctly spell my name. And back in 2016, we were asked to help enter into a negotiation with the landowner, Denise LeClaire Robbins, who owns the 146 acres. I can put the map up of land that is the last,
They have, you guys got a copy of the map, I believe.
just in case.
Yeah, they've got a copy of it.
Okay, so we were asked in 2016 to enter into an agreement to purchase this property, 146 acres, the last remaining undeveloped shoreline. Fish and Game and the town were very concerned about it being developed as it sits over your aquifer, and the aquifer that serves Westfield, West Springfield, and I believe Springfield also, wells. So, and you can see these wells here. This is your well here. All the other ones are sitting up here. This is basically the drainage that shows that what goes on here affects your drinking water. And so we were spoke to town, the Fish and Game, we spoke to the Conservation Commission, and there appeared to be enough support to purchase this. The town, I think Dennis had already there had already been a appraisal done on it. It did appraise twice at $5 million, an enormous amount of money. But we did with the understanding that there seemed to have been some, very much support from the state and from local, that we would enter into an option to purchase the land from Denise for $5 million, the appraised price. She was not at that time interested in a bargain sale, which is when you sell it for less money than it's appraised at. There's tax benefits to doing that, but right there, that was just, no, we're gonna do that. So we did enter into that, and, to date, we have worked with the state and the town, private donations. We have actually over 350 private donations from individuals, mostly in North Pond, in Southwick, a lot of people in Suffield as well. Small foundation grants like the Lipinski Family Foundation. So we had to extend our option for another year. Fish and Game last June, they had allocated $1 million towards the project. They had to spend their money to buy their portion of the land. That there had been a lot of discussions on how much the state wanted, how much the town wanted to own. The town also wanted to have a water line easement that goes from the end of this road up through here to help with the circulation of the water in the town. And so that would be a very logical place to have the property boundary between what the state was most interested in and what the town was most interested in. So we came up in agreement with town folks that we would divide it in this way. This is about 85 acres. This is 62 acres. The 62 acres that's still at risk contains a bog pond, a bog that's very unique, and a vernal pool that's been certified that has endangered amphibians in it. So the state had allocated $1.6 million. $1 million of that they had to spend by the end of last summer, or else they lost it. When they get budgeted money, if they don't spend it, they can't just hold it for another project. So we had to break this into 2 phases. So the total project was still $5 million. We had to allow the state to purchase the 85 acres. We actually purchase it first, then we immediately sell it to them. It's just the way things work. So that happened in 2017, in June. So we have been working diligently with funders, again, private donations, businesses to raise money. So we have continued to raise, but it's gotten more difficult as we have less land and the argument of trying to save that with foundations that might not be around here. So it's been difficult, but to date, in total and including the $1 million, we have an additional $2.5 million. So $3.6 million already committed to this project, which includes the portion that was already purchased. So in order to close this, we extended the option again, which we had to pay the taxes on it, extended the option until June 2019 because there was still a lot of folks still wanted to have us do this. And so we have until June 2019 to raise $1.5 million. So the CPC voted to support $1 million back in 2016. And so that is still, still sitting there. And I am back here again because I would like the CPC and the town to consider supporting another $500,000. We are going to all of the partners and saying, if everybody really wants to have this done, this is not us. When all is said and done, we don't have any interest in this. The town will own those 62 acres. It will be open to the public for hiking, fishing, boating, birding. The conservation restriction will be overlaid on it with Fish and Game just to ensure that they're good partners in managing the land. And we will walk away. We will, probably help support if there's other grants needed for trails or things like that. But we were just asked to come in and help to facilitate this project. So the money we're asking for is us asking on behalf of, this project that's in Southwick, for Southwick. And we're going to go back to the state and ask the state for more money. And we're going to go back to private funders and continue foundation applications. So we've kind of divided the remaining amount into 3 phases. We'd like the town to chip in some more. We're going to push the state to chip in some more, and we're going to push private donors and continue to write grants to raise it. So we've divided it by thirds. It will truly go a long way if we can see that there's more support from the town and then go to the state and say, this town is willing to put in more, are you willing to put in more? And so it is an astounding place, I think, given the location of the dense populations that you have. I mean, Southwick, you have Agawam, you have, Connecticut, you have a lot of population, and this entire area is extremely unique. And people come to visit it, people come to bird on it, people come to walk, people come to, boat. I was out there the other day with Bob Wachowski. It was just, it was lovely. You pull up into that and people are able to boat without being in other people's docks, and people were fishing and they were, anchoring their boats and swimming. It's unique, and there's not a lot of places like this around. And I think, if I lived in Southwick, I would be here walking and enjoying it, and it's a quiet place to go, and it will be gone. If we don't do this by then, we will not extend the option. We will not, make this drag on another year. So it's a big amount. That's what, I came to you and said, this is what we need. Now, we hope that that's supported. And, part of what we're trying to do, I think, with this project is push everybody, all the major partners, that if one major partner is going to do this, the other major partner is going to feel like they have to do it, and then the other person. So that's really what we're trying to do. We do need the town to be the first to step up. I think that would be, and if we fail, the money goes back in your account. We don't get it. It doesn't get lost. All the grants that we've gotten will be returned. So we don't sit here with this pot of money that we've raised But we've had over 350, individual donations raising over $350,000. A lot of people in this town that want to see this protected, a lot of people that enjoy it and understand that it's a really unique place. So that is, in terms of any project that I've worked on, 350 individual donors and small foundations that are local is a lot. It's a lot of people and it's a lot of money that people are giving. People are giving anywhere from like $10 to $100 to $500. We have Savage Arms has given us money, Lupinski Foundation. We just got the Hampshire Hamden Conservation District, which is a group of volunteers that works in and around here. They're mostly farmers from everywhere from Blandford to Southwick to Westfield. They just voted to give $5,000. Now, they're not a big organization. Westfield River Watershed Association has given $10,000. So the application has all that information in there. And so I'm here again at a really fun meeting, I can see. You guys are I think no matter where people sit with this project is unique. It's a really special place. It's special for wildlife, fish and game. With the grasslands they've created both here and in Connecticut, this is now the largest grassland in southern New England that is managed just for migratory bird species. So, it is a very special spot, let alone the aquifer, that you're sitting over top your drinking water. And that is to me probably more important than anything if I lived here. And so that's my story. It's a complicated project, and having to break it up into two pieces has made it more difficult, but it was just how it had to get done. I'm happy to ask questions. You have the maps. Unfortunately, this is the correct application. Do I give that to? I think I also sent it, but on all my copies of my, I missed an entire page. I think the Xeroxing got stuck together, and it was that one with the budget on it. So it's all in there, but half the budget was missing, so I wasn't sharing that. But that's the application that I also emailed in today, that has all the information.
Oh, right.
So, yeah, I scanned it, and yeah, so that's where it stands. I don't expect votes today. I assume that this was just kind of to give you guys some conversation, some time, and I'm happy to come back.
Can I ask a question?
You certainly can.
Okay, I'd like a question for you.
Yeah.
Okay, now, the state bought their portion for $1 million
Yes.
this summer. That piece, I'm trying to remember the appraisal.
1.8.
Was it broken out? It was
1.8.
1.8. So the landowner negotiated and was willing to come down on the price for
No.
the state portion.
Well,
Then how did they get 1.8, something was appraised at $1.8 million?
This part of what happened with this is because the issue of having to break this up. We agreed with the landowner that we were going to get $5 million to her for the entire property. We did have to amend and bifurcate the option to say that we're going to do this one for $1 million because that was what they had, and do the other portion for $4 million. In total, that is what she needs to get. The fact that we had to divide it up makes it more complicated, but it is still, she wants $5 million she wants to be paid $5 million for all of it.
Okay. Now, the appraisal, there's 2 appraisals done, and they both came back at
Right,
about
there was
4.9.
there was one by Dennis. We did one with O'Connor. I don't remember whether, it wasn't Dennis, I say the town. Wasn't you, Dennis. I don't remember who you had done.
Were they the same? That's what I was trying to get at.
No,
Was
we
the
did
same
different
appraiser?
people.
And
which
how
is
were those
good to do.
appraisers selected?
O'Connor Appraisers is an appraiser that we use. They are in Westfield. They work.
Okay, but
quite
you
a bit.
use them over and over again, so they're not truly independent.
Well,
from
they're
projects.
independent because they're licensed and they're independent, and we use a lot of different appraisals.
And we've used them in the town as well, for
Yeah.
when we did Sopanowski property.
Yeah.
And on what basis were they appraised?
I'm sorry, on what
What-
basis?
Yeah, fair market value?
Yes. And the town has a copy of the town has a copy of that appraisal. It's not private, because it was done on behalf of the town and Franklin Land Trust. We did it to both the partners that were that we're working on this. It is an astounding price, and if you look at the comparables that are in there, you're seeing house lots for $675,000. These are sales, you know. Mostly what appraisals do is they look at sales in the region that are current, they have certain parameters. They're legally bound to do that. We didn't do anything by choosing them. They're actually just extremely competent, and it's very hard to find appraisers. We work with them, that's it. That's who we choose to work with, and we work with others that are in Northampton and out in Boston and up in, you know, Shelburne. We have.
I thought the information we were given previously was not that it was not fair market value, that it was best possible use.
Highest and best use is what appraisers say. Highest and best use. That's what
Okay.
they.
Okay.
This is not it's not a for sale sign on there. Like
Right.
people say, oh well, I can sell it for whatever. Well, you can put a for sale sign on land, you know. And I just had this conversation with someone the other day who thought their appraisal on their land was very low, and they're like, well, but the lot next to me is it's listed for like $75,000. This is up in the hill towns in Heath, you know, where a lot is $75,000. Not around here. You know, we're like, well, yes, listed, but it's not sold for $75,000. So they look at sales.
Mhm.
That is what they look at, and that is where their basis is. I mean, they are very strictly held to reviews and, you know, licensed, and they don't. You know, we do not work with folks that we're not sitting there going, can you make this one a high one or a low one? I mean, my God, we would have loved if it was lower because it would have been a lot easier. You know, we're shocked. You know, and we continue to be. We're not asking the town to put in $5 million. We're asking a lot of different people to total up to that. So we're not. It would be different if I said I'm asking the town to come up with $5 million to buy land for the town residents, and then sure, but we're not. We're asking a lot of individuals to give $25. We're asking towns, you know, in total, if we do this, $1.5 million. So $1.5 million to get property that is worth much more than that, I think is, you know, we're doing the work to raise all the rest of the other funds, and, you know, that's, so I can't argue with the appraisal. It's a difficult number to swallow.
My concern here is that the seller is not really willing to negotiate on any of the price. And I have a banking background.
Yeah.
Commercial lending.
Yeah.
And if she went out to the general public and tried to get developers to purchase this land, those developers would have trouble getting financing, because right off the bat, when you go to a bank to get a loan, they discount that by 40%. They'll probably lend you 60%. They will require more than one developer probably to be involved on a project this size.
Right.
They will require significant financial. And I'm thinking she's not willing to work with us.
She has,
And
up until this point, not been. We are, it's very possible that some other partners are going to reach out to her. You know, maybe the town, maybe the selectmen might reach out to her directly. It has not worked with us so far. We do this a lot. I mean, this is what we do. We do not do projects this large, but we work with landowners where normally, I would say it's half and half, where a lot of landowners just want to get the price that it's appraised at, and that is why we do appraisals. We can't offer them more, we can offer them less, and it might be that we get to that point, in December or March, or December, or February, that we're up to $4.5 million, and we just go, we're done, this is what we can offer you. I would anticipate that is what we will try to do. We have asked her. It has been very clear that this is what she wants. So sometimes we just have to do it, and other times we have people that notice the benefit. I think part of it is the cost, the cost basis of whether it would even pay for her to take a bargain sale.
Back to the state
So.
purchase. That was originally valued, according to the previous appraisals, at $1.8 million and $3.2 for the parcel that we're looking at.
Right.
So the state paid $1 million for that, because I was told that they did their own appraisal?
They had to do that in order to quickly spend their, to spend their money. at that time. They are putting in more into this project on this half. So if this half goes through, they are putting in right now another 600,000, which is what they are buying. Because what we're doing is 2 layers here. The state is going to buy a conservation restriction over this, which is really the bulk of the value. And so right now they have 600,000 in towards that, because what that does is take away the development value of the land. So once you put a restriction on it, that land is a different thing.
Now, you're talking about the parcel that's not unpurchased.
Right,
Okay.
right. So, you know, it truly went to this very difficult process of once we had to divide it up, all in all, we were still having to, you know, be required to get this woman
Now, when
buy
that
all of it, 146 acres for the 5
sale was
million.
made last year, did that pass through Franklin Land Trust?
It had to pass through Franklin Land Trust, because we had the option with her,
Okay.
yes.
And was there some discussion on the part of Franklin Land Trust for some frontage lots?
There was discussion for frontage lots. We actually worked on that after that, and once we were starting to get into, you know, the difficulty of still fundraising, we talked about possibly doing like a few lots here, you know, up in the corner along the front, but maybe getting some of the frontage, so that we could conceivably say, then we're still conserving this, and this kind of just joins the rest of the, you know, the houses along the road. So the least impact, but we were looking at anywhere from like 6 to 7 lots that would have narrow frontage down to the lake. The problem with that is the town has a land grant pending for 400,000 that they applied for, and that would be disqualifying if we took away acres from the land grant. So the land grant, we actually applied, you know, they agreed to amend it and say this land grant is going to be for helping conserve the 62 acres. And then if we go and amend it again and go, oh, well, no, actually, can we take away like 10 or 12 acres from that? The state said no. They did give us an extension on the ability to keep that grant in place and not lose the grant, or they gave the town an extension on that. So that was we did try that quite diligently. We said, you know, because the amount of money we could have raised on those lots would have been significant to help with this. But then we would have lost 400,000 from a grant. So it was like we're sitting here going like this.
And you said the state's giving us another 600,000.
Yes, so right now in the Fish and Game budget, there's another 600,000 that is allocated for the second half of this project, which will be for the conservation restriction.
And that puts your total at 2.5 million?
2.5 million now that's sitting there waiting to be spent on this. We need another 1.5 million. So.
Because that 800,000 transferred over from the first parcel?
Yes, because it is, you know, the agreement was just done in this phase where it was still a $5 million purchase in the end. So it is just a lot of money. And we're not asking any one partner to spend it and to put it up. So that's
Okay. Well, you know what, we have our annual meeting
next week.
And
Yeah.
I'm assuming that you would want to be there?
I assume that I would attend if it's going to be back on the agenda. And
I'm sure we would put it back.
so
Sorry.
we are
I'd go
looking.
the other way with that.
We're looking at, you know, trying to know whether we have funding by March. But I know that the town meeting isn't until May, which we'd probably be able to wait for that. Or, you know, if sometimes I know the town has special town meetings in December or January. So if this moves forward to a town meeting vote. So yeah.
Any other questions?
Hi, just
Elaine, thanks for coming down.
All right.
Thank you very much for coming.
Elaine,
Yeah.
excuse me. If we don't get the 5 million raised, and, you know, basically the $4 million, or the money that's been raised so far goes back, but does the state piece still stay the state piece for They get that 1.8 million piece for
Right.
a million?
Right, they did purchase this.
That's purchased, that's done.
Right, that's done.
Yeah.
So Denise doesn't get her 5, she only gets 1.
Right now.
And then she has the rest of the property in her pocket.
I think it will behoove her to help with this project to work. Because it clearly was, appraised at the entire 146 acres was 5 million. Parsing it out made it difficult, but, yeah. Yep.
Thank you.
Okay, all right.
Thank you.
You guys, take it
Good
easy.
to see you again.
You too.
Thank you.
So next week, we have a public informational meeting, it's the annual meeting. All the boards in the town committees have been invited to attend with any projects that they would like to put forth. Chris, do you have anything you want to add to that?
I don't believe so. I mean, I think that the public hearing, people can ask questions. We should have lined out some of our projects that we've done, so we can explain, what we've done to, with the monies that have been raised. To show that their money is going to good causes. And I'd like to see that on the agenda.
That'd be a good time to bring anything, Joanne, from the housing that we might be looking at, have the, your committee's been looking at.
And we have
That's right.
Franklin Land Trust will be on the agenda as well. Bob, I was gonna let you answer. I think it was a telemarketer.
What was that? Oh, yeah.
I think it was a telemarketer.
Send him Tom Nabe. Send him Tom Nabe.
Chinese hack, took your chip over.
Okay. So, the last page in here is.
That was just some miscellaneous stuff I threw in
No,
there.
I think that's fine.
Want to look at.
It gives you a little idea of some of the projects we have pending that we're still working on and so forth.
Yeah, unfortunately, it is a little old, there's been stuff
I
being approved since then. Like the roof for the Moore House isn't listed under pending project. That came in like November of 17. So
Is it on this paper?
It was done after,
No.
it was done after this particular document was prepared.
Okay.
Anything else you can think
anybody
of?
update it from
Um,
whatever happened from May 15, 17?
Yeah, she'll do it.
Thank you.
A lot of these papers were, files were gone through, and so we kind of took what we could give you the basis on, so.
Appreciate it,
But
because that's a
can you-
lot of work.
Yeah, do you,
The lights are done.
do you know anything else that, besides the Morehouse that you don't see on here?
Well, it's historical, so it's in my daily life.
Where are you looking?
So housing authority lights are done. Mm-hmm. So that should be crossed up.
Okay.
Okay.
Housing Authority water damage repairs.
I'm not sure if that's Karen, is that the hole in the wall, the ground?
I'm sorry, what was that?
The water damage, was that the hole in the ground? The water damage repair, or was that the boiler?
That was inside, I believe.
That was the boiler?
Yeah.
Okay, that was done too.
50 Park Playscape's done, too.
The playscape's done?
They're all playing on it tonight.
There was
Yeah,
some,
that was done.
you'll see this is 5/15/17. I
Yeah.
believe that, was pending some
The archive is ongoing.
stuff from
That should
Park
still
and Rec,
be
but it's done
ongoing.
now, yeah.
What about the Wally Park?
What
Is
has-
that
Yeah, this is
project
as
there?
of 2/17.
Is that completely
Um,
done?
It's never been done.
No.
We'll need,
The document archive,
yeah, that's
Ongoing.
ongoing.
that's ongoing.
Yeah.
That's ongoing.
Yeah.
That comes up.
So for community preservation fund status, so those aren't accurate figures of.
If you look here,
The one sheet, the
this is what we got from accounting, this graph right
graph
here.
part?
Yeah, and these are all new, freshly, like, harvested. And the notes on here are from the town accountant, so.
Basis. Two.
Okay, it's right here. 208. Is that your 208,773?
Work with them.
Is that your open space?
What's that?
Your open space, that 208,773?
Yeah, so we're, 282, 288. Be rounded off to the dollar. We got 158, 779. And housing's, and 206. Unreserved is 872. So these numbers, just so everybody is aware, this doesn't include this hasn't deducted the million. These only show you numbers that, not for projects that we've put in for, only projects that have been paid for. So the $1 million that Elaine was alluding to relative to North Pond, that is still sitting here.
It's part of the money though.
Correct.
It hasn't gone yet.
Correct. Because most of that 872 for open space, not all of it.
General.
But general reserve is gone. Yeah, right here, pending projects underneath it, so,
And then there's 73,000.
right. Okay, so stay right back to that.
So what, here's what Laura gave to us. What is this back here? These pages behind here?
Those are line items.
Since,
I thought that's what they were matching up to.
well, I'm looking at,
The
okay,
top
here's
part.
these balances
Right.
here, then there's different numbers here, that one what was on here.
Well, I didn't know if they.
Yeah,
So I'm like, how do they all correspond to each other?
Right, I don't see what you're saying.
maybe
Oh,
just
yeah.
a meeting with the accountant.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Oh,
just
I was
about-
Well, I don't think,
matching them up.
I cannot give an estimate of
You
how
know,
much money is
we
going to
could
be
ask her
in
to
the
come to our
state
next meeting.
until it has been
Yeah.
There you
deposited.
go.
And just kind of go over how these numbers work. So,
Okay, I can do that, or
Yeah,
is
'cause
is there anything that prohibits me from going
oh, not at all.
and
Not at all. I was
talking
just
to her and
trying
trying to, no,
But you could do it yourself.
Yeah,
Right,
that's a-
figure it out for
Yeah,
yourself.
if I
absolutely.
contact her and made an
that.
appointment on a
Right.
Friday to
So
6:30.
Laura would be happy to do that for you.
Yeah,
Okay,
That'd be
And then
great.
You
if-
can make a
Thank you.
thing for us.
so, but if you still need her to come to a meeting, let Cindy know and she'll,
Yeah.
okay.
but yes.
Time savers are
Taking
good.
that on.
I'm looking at it like,
I'm going like this, or
they don't make sense.
writing them all down. Yeah, they're down the front page. We back on much.
So,
Expenditures.
okay.
And the next meeting.
Yeah, next
Yep,
Thursday.
next Thursday.
And we'll set the meeting after that.
Is that meeting gonna be in this room, or is it gonna be,
I would think it's gonna be an auditorium.
I don't think we need the auditorium.
What's that?
So I don't believe we need the
Yeah,
auditorium.
that's the impression I got.
Yeah.
You didn't have a huge turnout that you could probably
You
fit it,
think?
fit it here,
Oh, they do it here?
yeah.
Well, if we have the space available, why not?
That might be a problem.
Oh.
Tomorrow morning.
Okay,
Right.
reserve the room if you need it, right? Yeah. Ask ahead. It's like reservations, you can always cancel them.
Yeah.
Might make people mad, but.
So normally,
Hey, we do that daily.
this is the last piece in here with the meeting agenda for next week. Normally this is more of an informational meeting. We tell the public what we have pending, what we have, going before us, and hopefully there's people there to come to us with projects and ideas that they have. And
Vote on your minutes and stuff, and then you'll go into the
Right.
hearing part of it.
so, is there anybody looking to put anything else on the agenda for next Thursday? Okay.
I don't have anything
Well-
to add to it, but I would suggest if you say you're looking for people to bring project ideas to the committee, I would suggest that we would have some application forms for them to take within that night.
Okay,
Great idea.
good idea.
And you might wanna put time aside for the answers to the motions and all that. If you're still questioning them,
On what?
when we first the up to the committee.
Oh, relative to the reorganization?
Yeah,
We could, I almost made a motion ahead of that, and just say we can put it on the agenda. We can legitimize it on the agenda just with a vote of 5. We could have put
well,
that, we could have done that
I'm gonna
tonight.
have Michelle listen to the beginning of the meeting,
Okay,
so maybe she could give you a determination in writing.
okay.
And then if you don't, then if you have questions, invite her to the next one or something.
I think in previous years, we had like a 15-minute meeting before the general meeting to like
Yeah, that's
do
what,
something, approve the last minutes.
that's what we're talking about.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
schedule just a little earlier than.
Sure, we could schedule it for 6:45. And take care of any business, so we're not,
And you'll send a reminder email out? Great.
So you have the regular meeting at 6:45 and the hearing's at 7, correct? Is that what you posted it for?
Yes, 7 o'clock.
Okay.
So next-
You can keep
Well, I
that
haven't
because there's a lot of
posted it
general
yet, but-
information in these.
Don't you want the
You know.
folder?
No, you can keep
Got your
this
name
folder
on it.
and then next
Okay.
week and from now on, those folders will be given back
It's
to me
got
after you
the
take whatever's in
members'
them.
names and numbers.
So you
and
can
all,
keep that.
A few informational sheets, so we figured we could.
Then you can have
Got your name
them.
on
You're
it.
spending
Mike
$5
has-
million and you're worried about.
You know what,
We better start, we
Usually I
better
have
start
them
collecting
returned,
these.
but this is, you can keep filling it with stuff that I give you from
Like I
this
make a
point
motion
on.
to adjourn?
I
You make a motion to go to PDF.
all in favor?
Aye.
Oh, damn.
What paper I gotta throw away every week?
How's school
Who
going?
motion to adjourn?
I did.
You did,
Chris?
second.
I see that it looks like
I think it was David. Maria.
I'm loving it. I'm dreading it.
A little bit too much printed, I guess.
This is,
That's where.
yeah, I know.
It's just,
What you need to do.
I love writing.
Yes.
Don't take
Okay,
long.
go.
Go.
Relax.
Right away,
It's all
because
paper,
David
everything's
deleted it.
in the office.
And there's not a lot of paper.
That's gonna be fun.
It is the town, so.
So you feel-
A couple of years, I was involved in
One of the things I was